Very warm welcome to part 3 of the special mapping series for the preliminary exam 2024. Let's begin with a very important entry. In 2021, the military of Myanmar overthrew the elected government. Since then, a resistance movement has been gaining momentum against the military rule. This resistance movement is in the form of ethnic armed organizations and the People's Defense Forces. These are local rebel groups which are fighting against the military leadership of Myanmar. The point of concern for India is that these different rebel groups, they are fighting amongst each others. Not every rebel group is favoring India. To be precise, the area that we are concerned with is the Chin state of Myanmar and the Rakhine state of Myanmar. The Rakhine state of Myanmar was formerly known as the Arakan state. The ethnic armed organization of the Rakhine state is called the Arakan Army. The Arakan Army has recently captured the Paletwa township in the Chin state of Myanmar. Over here, one fact needs to be considered. The local ethnicity of Mizoram and Chin state of Myanmar is the same. These people share a solidarity based upon ethnicity, which is why the people living in the Chin state of Myanmar are supposedly friendly to us. When we talk about the Rakhine state, which has the Arakan army, a point needs to be considered. The Arakan army, along with the Myanmar National Democratic Alliance army and the Tang National Liberation Army, these three are part of the Three Brotherhood Alliance. This alliance has allegedly pledged to protect all Chinese investments in Myanmar. So basically, the Arakan army of Rakhine, which has taken control of the Paletwa township in the Chin state of Myanmar, is supposedly backed by the Chinese government. One more fact needs to be considered over here. The government of India and the government of Myanmar, as per multiple reports, they have carried out multiple attacks and you can say operations against the Arakan army because it was proving to be a hassle for Indian developmental projects. Which development project are we talking about? The capturing of the Paletwa township by the Arakan state has put the Kaladan multimodal transit transport project under threat. What is the Kaladan multimodal project? The northeastern states are connected to the mainland of India primarily by the Siliguri corridor. The Siliguri corridor is nothing but a 22-kilometer wide stretch of land, which is known as the Chicken's Neck. This provides the only physical connectivity on land from mainland India to the northeastern states, which is why an alternate route is essential to extend connectivity of the northeastern states to the coastal areas. The Kaladan multimodal project is exactly based upon that principle. The Kaladan multimodal project, it passes through both Paletwa of the Chin state and Sitwe port, which is present in the Rakhine state. When we talk about the development of this multimodal project, right now the Sitwe port has already been constructed. The river Kaladan is home to the inland water transport network that has been set up to Paletwa. The inland water transport connects the port of Sitwe to Paletwa. This is already constructed. The only thing missing right now is the road connecting Paletwa to Mizoram of India. Earlier, the people living in this area, in the Chin state, were favoring the development of that road. Now, fears are that since the Arakan army has captured Paletwa and which are pro-Chinese, the project completion is under a question mark. Will it complete or not? So this is very important with respect to mapping this year. Coming to the next important entry, there are still 17 non-self-governing territories in the world. According to the United Nations Forum on Decolonization in May, which was held in Indonesia, it was declared that a top priority must be given to overcome the challenges being faced by these non-self-governing territories. What are these 17 non-self-governing territories? Number one is the Western African region, Western Sahara. Earlier it was under the control of Spain. Then we have the Anguilla Island, which is under the control of United Kingdom. Then we have the Bermuda Island under UK again, British Virgin Islands again under UK, Cayman Islands again under UK, Falkland Islands. A dispute exists between the governments of Argentina, the United Kingdom and Northern Ireland with respect to sovereignty over this island even today. The next non-self-governing territory is Montserrat. It is under the control of United Kingdom. Then we have Saint Helena Island. Again, it is under the control of United Kingdom. Then we have the Turks and Caicos Island. It is under the control of United Kingdom. Then we have the United States Virgin Islands. Then we have the Gibraltar under the control of United Kingdom, American Samoa under USA, French Polynesia under France. All these Pacific islands have been dealt in detail in the last year's mapping series. Then Guam under USA, New Caledonia under France, Pitcairn under UK, Tokelau under New Zealand. All of these areas are not self-governing territories. For your convenience, I have added a detailed map of the Caribbean islands. To be precise, the Caribbean islands are divided into the Greater Antilles and the Lesser Antilles. Islands lying east of Puerto Rico are the Lesser Antilles. The ones lying west of it are all part of Greater Antilles. All the islands that we just referred to, most of them present in the North Atlantic, are mentioned in this slide as well. Coming to a next important entry, as we are all aware, the international North-South transport corridor was in news last year. Again, that has been dealt with comprehensively in the last year's mapping series. Anyway, with respect to that entry, another unique place was in news. To be precise, the Torish Valley, which is known as the Valley of Balls. This is exfoliation taking place. With respect to mapping entries, 3 places are important. One is the valley itself. It lies between the Caspian Sea and the Aral Sea in Kazakhstan. The region is important. That is the Mangistau region of Kazakhstan. The name of the plateau within which this valley is present is called the Ustyurt Plateau. These 3 entries are important with respect to mapping. Coming to the west coast of Africa, we all keep preparing about the presence of China in the Indian Ocean. That is important. But a lot of Chinese ports, which are specifically financed and constructed by China, are present on the west coast of Africa as well. A question can be asked with respect to the coastal countries present in Africa. I'll walk you through all these ports. 20 of these ports are important. The first one is the Lekki Deep Sea Port present in Lagos of Nigeria. Then is the Tonkolili Ore Project in Pepel, Sierra Leone. Then is the Kirby Container Terminal in Cameroon. Then we have a port in Côte d'Ivoire. Then we have the Tin Can Island Port in Lagos of Nigeria. It is present on the Tin Can Island of Nigeria itself. Then we have a port in Togo as well. We have the Conakry Container Wharf present in Guinea. We have the Friendship Port in Mauritania. We have the Tema LNG Terminal in Ghana. Another port is present in Ghana as well, Takoradi Port. Then we have the Bakarasi Deep Port in Calabar of Nigeria. Apapa Port is present in Nigeria, in Lagos. We have the Mindelo Deep Water Port at Cabo Verde. We have the Kamasar Fishing Port, which is an economic zone in Guinea. Mineral Port in Mauritiana. Another port in Ghana. The Kwe Koi expansion project in Sierra Leone. Douala Channel present in Cameroon. And we have another port in Guinea and Ghana as well. Coastal countries present in Africa become important because of this, because all of these 20 ports were in news last year because they have a link with China. Coming to a very important mapping entry and a very important concept as well. As we are all aware about global warming, the third most important gas, or rather a group of gases which is linked to greenhouse gas, is called nitrous oxides. The first and second most important greenhouse gases are nevertheless carbon dioxide and methane. The group called nitrous oxides forms the third most important category. Natural sources considered to release nitrous oxides were not accounted for because anthropogenic factors, anthropogenic means based upon human actions, they were supposed to be the prime factors. But as per latest research and reports, it has been found that due to melting permafrost, due to melting glaciers, multiple lakes are forming. The area of interest is the third pole of the world. What is the third pole of the world? The Hindu Kush, Himalayas and Tibetan Plateau. More than 30,000 glaciers are present in this area. All of them are melting. They are creating multiple lakes. Now, what is happening in those lakes? There is some bacteria living in those lakes. That bacteria converts the nitrogen from all natural sources, not from the atmosphere, from running water, from the effluents. It converts that nitrogen into ammonia. That ammonia is converted into nitrites. This process is called nitrification. After conversion into nitrites, it is converted into nitrogen gas. That is called denitrification. In the process of denitrification, what is produced? Nitric oxide. Nitric oxide is a very harmful greenhouse gas. It has only recently been calculated that what is the amount of nitric oxide being released by these lakes. 130 lakes larger than 50 square kilometers in this region were analyzed. It was calculated that the amount of nitric oxide being pumped out of these lakes is equivalent to the amount of nitric oxide being released by major cities. For example, the amount of nitric oxide released by all these lakes together is almost 1.9 metric tons per hour. The amount of nitric oxide released by London is less per hour. The biggest lake in this area is present in China, known as the Qinghai Lake. This lake alone is pumping out nitric oxide to such an extent which is comparable to a thermal power plant. This entry therefore becomes important. These lakes have a profound impact in the Indian monsoonal rainfall as well. But then again, separate topic. Coming to a very important and a very interesting entry. Glaciers are in news. Let's come to Antarctica. It was a mystery till now. The Taylor Glacier is present in Antarctica. Right at the snout or the tongue of this glacier, there was a waterfall, and that waterfall kept on oozing out red colored water. Therefore, it was called the Blood Falls. This is the location of the Taylor Glacier, just south of Australia and New Zealand. It is only recently being found that what is the source of this red coloration. We'll come to that, but first the mapping entries. Taylor Glacier is present in Antarctica. What is the region in which it is present? McMurdo Dry Valley area. What is the lake in which all of this discharge is being entered? That is Lake Bonny. all the discharge is entering Lake Bonny, the surface of which remains frozen. Now, as per the research, this water contains iron-rich nanospheres which upon oxidation give it a reddish coloration. In this research, it was mentioned that in this glacier, there is a lot of trapped ancient seawater, which is why it is very salty in nature as well. And there are many microbes living in this water which actually feed off iron, therefore giving this a red coloration. This is all for part 3 of the special mapping series. Stay tuned for further parts.